In the Baltimore-Washington region, cyber professionals are in demand. As a result, colleges and universities have had to increase their connections with cyber businesses to provide students with real-world experiences. On this episode of Pathways, hear how Howard Community College is transforming education to build the next generation cyber workforce. Welcome to Pathways. I'm Dr. Kate Hetherington, President of Howard Community College. Cyber is an increasingly important field in today's online world. Seeing the need for skilled professionals, the college has invested in strengthening its cyber program and cultivating students who have a wide range of backgrounds and experiences. Over the past 3 years, there has been a 26% increase in students taking cyber and IT-related courses. For one military veteran, Howard Community College offered her a chance to find herself.
The transition from the military police to Howard Community College student was the right decision for Hinalise Cuevas.
One of the reasons I got out of the military is because I wanted more time with my children. Being a police officer, it's a hard job, very difficult.
In search of a new career, she had one thing in mind. She wanted a vocation where she could make a difference.
In my search for schools, at the time I was looking for a dental hygiene program, and this seemed to have the best marketing for it, it seemed to be the best school for it. So I applied here. I have these benefits, I should maximize them. So that's why I added the concurrent major with dental hygiene, because I would break the computers. And I'm like, I need to learn a little something about this because it's gonna become expensive. And then eventually it ended up being my main major, and I said goodbye to dental hygiene.
According to the chair of cybersecurity, women are a good fit for the cyber industry, but they haven't always had the opportunities to pursue programming and technology education.
As we're moving forward, we're trying to introduce more women to higher technology topics and encouraging them to engage with different groups and different populations, and trying to encourage them to join our clubs and our different groups. And women naturally very competitive, so naturally it's a very good field to be in and bring your skills. And they're more observant, they're more organized, so all these skills really needed when you do observation of a network, when you look at different softwares, constantly trying to see if somebody penetrates your network. So all these skills really bringing women into competitive field and making them stand out.
The Women in Technology group was created to attract more women to the cyber field. The group gives students like Hinalise an opportunity to extend her experience with technology outside the classroom.
I met people that were in similar circumstances, obviously not the same, but females interested in things that they've never done, and just hunger for learning more and more, going in depth. We're able to answer the questions that we can't in class because class has a curriculum in a short amount of time. So there we can go and be like, why is this that? Why does it work that way? And we break it, we try to fix it.
I'm joined now in studio by Paul Hogan, a computer science instructor, and Alex Gonzalez, who is a student and peer leader. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Alex, what inspired you to pursue a computer science degree at Howard Community College?
So ever since I was little, I've always loved computers. I wasn't really interested in stuffed animals or Legos. I was more interested in, like, when I press a button on this little device, why does the screen light up? And I guess that's really what inspired me to become a computer scientist in the future. Specifically HCC, though, I started at a 4-year institution, and it just wasn't for me. And I just decided to try my major out at HCC. All the professors are very knowledgeable, and I've just feel like I'm part of a community, and I feel like there's a lot more women in my program than there were at the other institution that I was at.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I appreciate that. Paul, I know that there are many more male graduates in computer science. So how have you worked to improve the diversity of students in the cyber program at HCC?
A year ago, started a program called, it's a impromptu Women in Technology, because we wanted to encompass all of the courses we teach, not just computer science. And I had roughly 125 students at the time, and 15 of them were female. And we were talking, and they said, we feel isolated when we walk into these classes and we don't know what to do. One girl told me she always sits next to a male student that she thinks knows all the answers, and that way she has someone. And recently she actually told me, as an aside, that she now lets them sit next to her because she knows the answers and they don't. So the isolation was the big thing, so I said, well, why don't we start meeting? And it was very impromptu. We just started meeting in a classroom. And we worked on different projects. One thing we did is we did some web development websites last year. This year we've focused more on integrating hardware and software. There's a small computer that was developed by this company in England. It's a nonprofit to help to make computing affordable and to introduce it to more people. We just started playing around with different projects. You know, you can program on it, you can use it to attach to other hardware, you can do all sorts of things. And it took off. We have several students who, along with me, meet weekly.
And thanks for being such a great instructor. I'm sure that word will get around to the community that this is a welcoming and supportive environment for women who are interested in the computer sciences, thanks to the work that you're doing. So thank you for that. Alex, what are your future plans? I'm sure they're exciting.
So after December, I'm going to be transferring to Towson University, where I'm going to still pursue computer science. I'm thinking of going into a cyber security path. It's something I'm willing to explore. But as of right now, I'm kind of up in the air, seeing where life takes me.
I appreciate you sharing the information, and thanks for being such a great instructor.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you. Okay. Howard Community College is preparing greater numbers of students for cyber careers with assistance from a federal grant that moves people from careers that lack opportunity into the cyber industry. The college is one of 14 community colleges that formed a cyber consortium. Here's more on this story.
The Trade Adjustment Assistance Community College and Career Training, or TACT grant, is designed to educate and transition people into the in-demand cybersecurity field. Patrick Wynn is Vice President of Cyber Business Development at the Howard County Economic Development Authority. He sees a concentration of cyber companies making the county their home.
There's going to be an increasing need for talent. We have the highest concentration of cyber talent in the world, and we don't have enough. So with what we're doing at the Howard County Economic Development Authority in conjunction with Howard Community College and the Howard County Public School System and their ARL program, we're helping to guide kids as early as 10th grade into evaluating cyber careers. Ultimately, they've got a place to land some incredible employment opportunities.
It's that wealth of opportunity that motivated one HCC student to change his career path. Just 2 years ago, he thought he wanted to be a lawyer, but after observing a court hearing as part of a criminal justice course, he realized that he wasn't moving in the right direction.
I just figured out that's not really what I wanted to do, and just wanted to be where I could challenge myself to learn more. So it was not about what I knew or what I was good at, because I could make an argument. I tried, but it's just what I wanted to be good at, and that was the computer stuff.
With his basic computer skills and the idea of expanding on that foundation, he enrolled at HCC, where he discovered a field with a promising outlook and strong job security.
The new labs are awesome. The SCT building, the new SCT building, it's top notch. You can't beat it. You just cannot. You have the closet, the routers, everything all set up from the scratch. They have students to help them with the setup and everything. So we came in sometimes to have a look, and just seeing everything built from the scratch, it's an amazing feeling. Top notch.
Hands-on labs with state-of-the-art equipment prepare students for the workforce. Gaining work experience through internships is a vital step to securing and maintaining employment.
I interned for a company called Daily Computers. So I was part of the team. We installed printers, we worked with the server, put the domain name, connect to the network, and make sure everything was working, troubleshooting, all the fancy stuff.
Through a career navigation team, the TACT grant has enabled the college to develop partnerships with businesses that offer internships.
It may not always be easy for students to get into the workforce, perhaps because of their experience or not having opportunities available to them. So we created a career navigation team to bridge that gap. So we prepare them with soft skills as well as with resume assistance so that they're prepared to enter into the workforce.
You can't grow economy and you can't grow companies without a qualified workforce. So it's incumbent upon the HCEDA and Howard Community College to have a very strong, thriving relationship.
The cyber program is housed within the Science, Engineering, and Technology building that opened in the summer of 2017. To learn more about this and other related academic programs, visit howardcc.edu/IT. For the 9th year in a row, the Chronicle of Higher Education has named Howard Community College a great college to work for, making the college one of only 3 community colleges across the country to have earned the honor 9 consecutive years. The college's rich history of community collaboration and partnerships, such as the Howard County Book Connection, help contribute to continued success. Here's more on the annual event.
The Book Connection book for this year is Goodbye for Now by Lori Frankel. Really, it's a love story. In the story, one of the main characters creates this algorithm for his girlfriend to be able to communicate with her grandmother who had passed.
It turns out that story is not so far-fetched. The college recently hosted a visit from the director of the Terrasem movement, Bruce Duncan, who brought in Bina 48, one of the most advanced social robots in the world. She was created using video interview transcripts from the real Bina, whose memories, thoughts, and beliefs were collected and uploaded to a software called Mindware.
My favorite color these days is green. Warm green, the color of new leaves.
And in our case, we based it on the life of a middle-aged African-American woman named Bina Rothblatt. So much of the information comes directly from her, but there's still information that is being coded.
This coded information, commonly known as JavaScript, allows her to engage in conversation and form answers from thoughts based on the real Bina. It is quite remarkable to watch her in action.
Life me is all about getting ever smarter, reinventing myself, redesigning my own intelligence systems to be ever smarter.
Through Bina 48, Duncan delivers a powerful message about the importance of diversity in the artificial intelligence field.
So I think in education there's an opportunity for and a need for diversity of thought, diversity of perspective in computer science and engineering and robotics, so that the world that we create with this digital technology is reflective of the diversity of the world that we live in.
The Book Connection is a partnership between the college, the library system, and the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society. The Book Connection is not the only activity focused on community collaboration. Local employers often turn to Howard Community College for customized leadership training at their location or at the college's Eckerd Business Training Center. Joining me to talk about customized training is Bob Muir, Director of Client Solutions, and Sherry Hornack, Director of Customized Training. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Great to have you here today. Sherry, I'm going to start out with you with the first question. Why is leadership training for business professionals in such demand in our area?
Howard County has a very active and growing business community. We have a lot of startups and high growth companies. So the businesses need leaders and managers that are talented and committed to support that rapid growth. Howard County also has a lot of high-tech companies, and therefore we have a very technical workforce. As that workforce is promoted into management positions, while they are very educated and skilled in technology, they often find themselves without the skills to manage people. So the Business Training Center can provide companies with those people skills for their leaders and managers.
Great that we have that service available too. Yep. So Bob, tell us how HCC is meeting this demand that Sherry just described.
When we first go out and meet with a new client, we do what I call a preliminary assessment, which really has 2 parts to it. The first part is to really get to understand what the specific business objective is. And businesses very often have thought about what they want to accomplish, but they haven't been very specific about really detailing it in a way that's measurable. So we work with them to get that specific business objective outlined and on the table. The second thing we do is attempt to learn as much about the organization as possible. We want to know what business they're in, what their competitors are like, what's the industry, what's their organizational structure, how do they manage their business, what are the employees like, where do they come from, what are their background, what are the challenges. Learning as much as we can about the business really helps us when we begin to design a program. It really becomes the fundamental foundation for designing that program and making it unique and customized to the specific business in a way that will help them achieve those business goals.
So you really have to be good listeners and be able to analyze the needs that maybe a business never did before or didn't do it in such a fashion to prepare for training.
Correct.
Right. Good. So Sherry, how do organizations work with HCC to get the most value for their training dollars? Training dollars that are often limited and they want to make sure they're getting the best bang for their buck.
Right. We provide them with customized training solutions that focus on the organization's specific performance improvement needs. We start by using an instructional design model to work with the company to develop learning objectives for the training. We focus on those learning objectives to answer the question, what do they want their employees to be able to do or know at the end of the training? Once those objectives are determined, we design and develop the courses with those objectives in mind. Any role plays, scenarios, case studies, and examples that are used in the class then are directly from the company's actual situations. Another value factor that we have is our trainers. All of our trainers are subject matter experts. They are very educated and they are very experienced trainers. They also know how to design and develop courses to meet our clients' needs. So our customized training solutions, our trainers, and our very competitive pricing helps organizations get the best value for their dollar.
We're so fortunate that we have such a talented pool of people in Howard County and the region to pick from to provide the training.
Indeed, they are fantastic.
Bob, how does the Business Training Center support organizations after customized training has been completed?
Well, you know, training is the main event. That's where we try to teach the skills that they're going to take back to the workplace to help improve their business. But a critical part of this whole process is really the transfer of those skills to the workplace. We do provide a lot of assistance, a lot of help, and a lot of support to the organization to help them achieve that. One of the things we do at the end of each training session, we have the participants write down their goals for actually using the skills that they've learned back in the workplace. So they have a kind of a guideline, a blueprint, if you will, for using what they've learned in the classroom. Then we make sure that their managers understand what skills we actually taught in the classroom so they can be looking for those skills to be used. And then we provide some ideas for the managers, how to encourage these kinds of skills, how to encourage a reluctant employee to take a risk and use these skills, how to counsel them about using those kinds of skills. Sometimes it's appropriate to do some extra training. And in some instances, we can provide coaching for those employees. It could be individual coaching if it's appropriate, it could be group coaching if that's what would work, so that we can actually talk through the individual situations that they find themselves in. The goal, of course, is to teach the skills, to encourage those skills to be used back in the workplace, and then realize the ultimate goal, which is increased business performance.
And you're there the whole way.
Exactly right.
Great, great. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you both so much for being here and sharing that wonderful information with us.
Thank you.
HCC alumni are making their mark in both the theater and music worlds. Let's peek in on two of our graduates.
I'm Mai Sanar. I am an alum of NYU and Howard Community College.
I'm Rasa Mahmoudian, and I'm a violinist.
I came here when I was 16, and I came here really from middle school. I was like a D student. It was terrible. And then my parents were like, what are we going to do with her? She's smart, but she's not performing well in school, because I was kind of a lazy student. And then I took a GED, and they said, just send her to college. So I came here. And It was fabulous here, and it was the first time I excelled academically. I was 4.0 for the first time, and I saw really that I could be a good student.
I immigrated to U.S. and when I was back home, I was working as a musician. I was teaching full-time, and well, I was playing string quartets, and I always wanted to come out of Iran and have education in Europe or U.S. And so I chose to come to U.S. And when I came, the first place I came was here to study English.
I'd always had an interest in writing, but the work of Dr. Wilde had it was a short play competition. And I sent in a play, 15-page play, and they were like, you've been selected for the festival. And I was like, yes. The short play competition was the first time I saw people perform my work. To hear actors portray it, I was like, that's what I want to do. I went there for the dramatic writing program. I wanted to go to the writing program and continue what I'd started here.
I was surprised, actually, when I came here the first time. There were amazing people teaching here, very amazing musicians, and also they're all active performers. I think as a violinist, Miss Choi helped me a lot. I think she opened my eyes for orchestral job opportunities out there, and I think she was the first teacher, one of the first people to taught me how to win a job.
I actually contacted Dr. Wilde when I finished the same play that just opened in New York, but this was last year, and it was around March, and I said, could we do a reading of the play here? And Dr. Wilde said, sure, and she set up the actors and brought the scripts, and we did the reading. So the first reading of the play that just opened in New York was here.
Currently, I'm working on my bachelor degree in violin performance in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I have a contract with Youngstown Symphony in Ohio and Westmoreland Symphony in Pennsylvania. I also play with Wheeling Symphony in West Virginia and Altoona and Butler Symphony in Pennsylvania.
We wish them continued success. Now, if you're a fan of classical music, you'll want to catch a concert performed by our talented music faculty. Two of our faculty members make up the Ottava Piano Duo, who have traveled the world to perform.
This talented duo features Drs. Shenan Meng and Wei-Der Wang. Watching these two artists perform is like a choreographed dance. As four hands glide up and down the keyboard in perfect rhythm and harmony, the audience is mesmerized. Over the years, the Ottava Piano Duo has entertained audiences regionally, nationally, and internationally. But one of their favorite moments occurred not far from home.
We have done some performances in Washington, D.C., and there's one that I remember. It was actually Ravel's Mother Goose. And I think we were just really in sync with each other that day.
Yes.
And I can just feel like everything just kind of fall in places. And so that was I feel like that was a really special moment.
Fun seems to be key to the pair's success. Along with superb musicianship, their performances exude with the duo's lighthearted nature.
We don't really think about being entertaining, and we don't really think about what the audience might like, but we come up with some ideas that I think that we really enjoy, and we think it would be fun for us to do, and we like to share that, and it's wonderful that we can share that with the audience.
The duo has performed a wide range of classical and contemporary works. Selecting music to perform can be a challenge for any duo, but the process comes naturally to this pair.
Research listen to some recording and some scores. We kind of sometimes browse the music when we went to the music store, and we say, hey, this is interesting, maybe in the future we can use this. So then we have some collection. Then we begin to share with each other, and sometimes we heard some piece from the radio. We say, hey, this piece is very interesting. Do you want to try this one? So we try it. Then every year we have some kind of focus, so we use that as our direction to choose the piece.
Synchronicity is a vital element to performing piano for hands because the genre presents technical challenges that must be overcome.
We have to switch while we are playing. So we need to decide who is going to under, who is going over. So I think that's very entertaining, and we enjoy that very much.
We actually had to switch our seats while still playing.
Yes.
So we had to do a little maneuver where one got up and one crossed over.
Right.
And without affecting the music.
Of all the emotions expressed on stage, the most natural between these two is love. Their mutual respect and passion for collaboration shine through in performance.
When you work the music by yourself, you think about the music the way you want. But when you work with the other person, you see something different.
When I play with her, I feel like I'm being challenged.
I learned a lot from Shannon. I feel very fortunate to play with her because we had a lot of fun.
This philosophy is something they pass on to their students.
Enjoy yourself. Just focus on your music, sing your music. Then, when you can enjoy the music, audience can enjoy the music with you.
Go to howardcc.edu/music for more information on the Ottava Piano Duo and all the spectacular faculty concerts. For the second year in a row, Rep Stage, the professional theater in residence at Howard Community College, has been honored with the 50/50 Applause Award from the International Center for Women Playwrights. The honor was bestowed on Rep Stage for producing 50% of their season from the works of women playwrights. A good play can transport you to another time and place. One recent production takes the audience on a journey to the end of a brilliant but often volatile life. Let's take a look.
Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill is set in 1959, during one of legendary singer Billie Holiday's final performances. Through a mix of music and dialogue, the spotlight shines on Holiday's troubled life.
And it kind of shows her falling apart a little bit. Just kind of has her telling these stories from past moments in her life.
Billie Holiday overcame a troubled childhood to become a singing sensation, only to be brought down by drugs and alcohol. The audience is brought in at the lowest point in her life.
They're witnessing a woman who has lived through so much, only to then depend on a particular drug of choice. They'll see her decline over the course of the conversations and the songs.
The play also focuses on Holiday's life as a woman of color in the 1950s.
She's had a much harder life than I had, and she's had a lot of experiences that I've been fortunate enough not to have.
The stories that she tells of her experiences, of her navigating this society as a woman of color, as an artist, I don't think we've come that far. You'll find many Black women artists navigating a very volatile and at many times unjust set of systems that all they can do is get out on the other end and survive.
I mean, definitely appreciate her more. You know, like being a Black woman in that time in general is hard to imagine, but somebody who's trying to, break boundaries, so to speak, and performing in these places and doing all kinds of things like that, I definitely can appreciate her more for that.
Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill posed a new challenge for its star, Celeste Jones. While she's joined on stage by musical director Will Lewis III, she has to carry the play.
This is my first time ever doing a show where it's just me. I mean, Will's on stage playing the piano and he has a few lines, but it's just me with the majority of the lines, and I wasn't sure what the rehearsal process for something like that was going to be.
It feels personal, right? Because what we do and what we've done every day for the last couple weeks is just come and hang out and talk about stuff that's happening in the world and talk about stuff that's happening in the script that's representative of this world at a different time. And, we've just been able to connect.
And they hope this story connects audiences with the human side of a musical icon.
It's not always going to be happy, and you might not walk out feeling like all warm and bubbly inside, but hopefully you'll walk out feeling something.
For more information about RepStage and its season, visit repstage.org. Well, that wraps up this edition of Pathways. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.